The first topic of this video lecture is classification of memory. Now first read-only memory. The data in this memory can only be read. No writing is allowed. It is used to store permanent programs. It is non-volatile type of memory. Classification of ROM memory is as first classification is masked ROM. The program or data are permanently installed at the time of manufacturing as per requirement. The data cannot be altered. The process of permanent recording is expensive but economic for large quantities. Next classification is PROM. PROM stands for Programmable Read-Only Memory. The basic function is same as that of masked ROM, but in PROM we have fuse links. Depending upon the bit pattern, the fuse can be burned or kept intact. This job is performed by PROM programmer. Third classification is EPROM, stands for Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. The EPROM is programmable by the user. It uses MOS circuit to store data. They store ones and zeros in form of charge. The information stored can be erased by exposing the memory to ultraviolet light, which erases the data stored in all memory locations. Next classification is EEPROM, stands for Electrically Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. This is similar to EPROM, except that the erasing is done by electrical signals instead of ultraviolet light. The main advantage is the memory location can be selectively erased and programmed. Next is read-write memory. The RAM, random access memory, is also called as read-write memory. The RAM is a volatile memory. It always the programmer to read or write data. Now following is the characteristics of RAM memory. Now first it is available in two types. The first is static RAM. It consists of flip-flop using either transistor or MOS. For each bit we require one flip-flop. Bit status will remain as it is unless and until you perform next write operation or power supply is switched off. Now the advantage of static RAM is fast memory, that is less access time, and second benefit is refreshing circuit is not required. Now the disadvantage of static RAM is low package density and it is costly. Next is dynamic RAM. In this type of memory, a data is stored in the form of charge in capacitors. When data is 1, the capacitor will be charged, and if the data is 0, the capacitor will not be charged. The advantage of dynamic RAM is that it is a high package density and it is low cost. And the drawback of this dynamic RAM is it required refreshing circuit to maintain or refresh charge on the capacitor every after few million seconds. Now the next is a secondary memory. The first is magnetic disc. The magnetic disc is a flat circular platter with metallic coating that is rotate read-write heads. It is a random access device. Read-write head can be moved to any location on the platter. Next is a floppy disk. These are the small removable disks that are plastic coated with magnetic recording material. Floppy disks are typically 3.5 in size, that is diameter, and can hold 1.44 MB of data. This portable storage device is a readable media and can be reused a number of times. Floppy disks are commonly used to move files between different computers. The main disadvantage of floppy disks is that they can be damaged easily and therefore are not very reliable. Next is a hard disk. Another form of auxiliary storage is a hard disk. hard disk consists of one or more rigid metal plates coated with metal oxide material that always data to be magnetically recorded on the surface of the platters. The hard disk platters spin at a 5 high rate of speed, typically 5400 to 7200 revolutions per minute, that is RPI. Storage capacity of the hard disks for personal computer range from 1 GB to 120 GB. 1 billion bytes are called 1 gigabytes. Next is optical device. Optical mask storage devices store bit values as variations in the light reflection. They have higher area density and longer data life than magnetic storage. They are also standardized and relatively inexpensive. Their uses read only storage with lower performance requirements, applications with high capacity requirements, and where portability in a standardized format is needed. Now, there are the types of optical devices. One is a CD-ROM, that is read only. CD-R record to a CD. CD-RD can write and erase CD to reuse, that is rewritable. And DVD, digital video discs. Next topic is input output devices. Now, MPU communicates with outside world through input output device. There are two different methods by which MPU identifies and communicates with input output devices. These methods are direct input output peripheral and second memory mapped input output. The method is differed in terms of number of addresses lines used in identifying input output devices, type of control lines used to enable the device, instructions used for data transfer. Now next is direct input output peripheral. This method uses two instructions in and out for data transfer. MPU uses 8 address lines to send the address of input output device. It can identify 256 input devices and 256 output devices. The input and output devices can be differentiated by control signals, input output read and input output write. The steps in communicating with an input output device are similar to those in communicate with memory and can be summarized as follows. Number 1, the MPU places an 8-bit device address on address bus, then decoded. Number 2, the MPU sends a control signal to enable the input output device. And number 3, data are placed on the data bus for transfer. Next is memory mapped input output. The MPU uses 16 address lines to identify an input output device. This is similar to communicating with a memory location. It uses the same control signals and instruction as those of memory. The MPU views the input output devices as if they were memory locations. There are no special input output instructions and it can identify 64 kilo address shared between memory and input output devices. Next is system bus. System bus is a communication path between microprocessor and peripherals. It is a group of wires to carry bits. The technique was developed to reduce cost and improve modularity. System bus consists of address bus, data bus and control bus. Now the address bus, it is a group of wires or lines that are used to transfer the addresses of memory or input output devices. It is unidirectional. The addresses are transferred in binary format with each line of the address bus carrying a single binary digit. The maximum address capacity is equal to 2 the power of number of lines present. Next is a data bus. It is used to transfer data within microprocessor and memory input or output devices. It is bidirectional as a microprocessor requires to send or receive data. Each wire is used for the transfer of signals corresponding to a single bit of binary data. Next bus is control bus. Microprocessor uses control bus to process data, that is what to do with the selected memory location. Some control signals are read, write and opcode fetched. Various operations are performed by microprocessor with the help of control bus. This is dedicated bus because all the timing signals are generated according to the control signal. Next, what are the functions of CPU of microprocessor? The first function to fetch, decode and execute program instructions in the proper order. Second function is transfer data to and from memory and to and from input output section. The third function is response to the external interrupts. Fourth function, it provides overall timing and control signal for the entire system. Fifth function is read write of data into memory, so bidirectional bus is required. And the last function, all processing and data flow is done in the system with MPU chip. Next topic is uh, explain the ALU block diagram. Now this figure shows a block diagram of ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit. ALU is a 8-bit unit. It performs arithmetic logic rotate operation. It consists of binary adder to perform addition and subtraction by 2s complement method. The result is stored in accumulator. Accumulator, temporary register, flag register is closely associated with ALU. The temporary register is used to hold the data during arithmetic logic operation. Flags are set or reset according to the result of operation in the status register. Adder performs arithmetic operation like addition, subtraction, increment, decrement, etc., with the result being feedback into the accumulator via internal data bus. Shifter performs logical operation like rotate right. Result is placed in the accumulator. Status register are set or reset according to ALU operations.